a lot of sense. My name is Bernard. I'm here with Nathan Kwao.
Hello.
And Godfred Akotobo.
Charlie, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out what this man is saying again. Where's Freeman when you need him?
Oh, Lumba.
Yeah.
Is that blah, 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 blah?
Something.
Blah, blah, blah.
Again, I'm trying to figure him out.
Tomorrow morning, Freeman will be on AJ show at 10.
They will do,
and
Freeman add the song.
You know, there's songs and interpretation.
Yeah.
That's the gift. Freeman's one is songs and interpretation.
Yeah.
So the 9 gifts of the Spirit, her own is songs and interpretation. Yes,
okay.
Yes,
Freeman, tomorrow add this song to the
I'm
list.
telling you.
All we hear is blah, 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 blah.
All right, so let's go into the newspaper reviews brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Go to our website. Look, don't make your life complicated. Once you're on our website, you can do everything. Money transfer, collect money, send money, analyze everything. Call 3355. You can do a chat with our WhatsApp banking assistant. You can do QR payments, all with Fidelity Bank. Makes your life simple. And if you want to prioritize, choose Quartz, the future 0W20, specially conditioned for the latest generation engines. If it's a new car, it needs Total. For optimum performance and efficiency of your car, visit your nearest Total service station. Total Quartz, keep your engine younger for longer. All right, gentlemen, let's go into the headlines.
Okay, Bernard, let me start from the front page of the Daily Graphic. 3 illegal miners jailed 45 years, fined 720,000 Ghana cedis. A photo of the illegal miners on their arrest at the mining site is on the front page of the Daily Graphic. A rather sad story also here, Bernard. Integrating the mentally ill into society, 222 cured patients stranded. MBSSI changes to Ghana Enterprises Agency. Rename it. Finance Minister asks IFC to increase private sector funding.
Okay, the Ghanaian Times has that story as well. IFC to inject $2 billion to shore up private sector. The president has launched the Ghana Enterprises Agency. It's replacing NBSSI. Hairdresser stabs boyfriend to death.
That was from yesterday. More details.
Yeah, and crisis in Burkina Faso. ECOWAS pledges to defeat terrorism.
Front page of the Daily Guide. Doma Henemax, 22 years on the throne. Female coup plotter wanted Nana eliminated. This is coming from the court proceedings. It comes with a photo of Warrant Officer Class 2, Esther San, a.k.a. Mama G. Akufo-Addo promises Burkina ECOWAS support. Opunis move to remove judge fails again. And Bernard, you'll be very interested in this one.
Which one?
2 looters grabbed at Saglemi housing.
What were they doing?
They were removing things from the abandoned project.
The Chronicle has the speaker on its front page and he's talking to MPs. You have no absolute immunity. Make yourselves available to the courts.
Hi.
The president says, we are working, we won't rest. Allowing the rich to pay will deny the poor access to free SHS. That's according to John Kuma. And Chief Inspector drags feet in trial of suspects at Sege. Plus, NDC juggernauts invade court to support Opuni.
Front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper. 145 million Ghana cedis ready for SMEs. Support to benefit over 250 businesses. The Opuni story makes the front page again. Government rally citizens for Green Ghana tomorrow.
The new crusading guide says major boost for MSMEs as Akufo-Addo launches Ghana Enterprises Agency. Stop encroaching on our land. Achim Erasa chief warns invaders. 10,000 millionaires to be created. That's according to John Kuma. And toll workers angry over poor management of state facility.
The BNFT's front page has one big story, Bernard. Momo is most preferred digital payment method. Also, inflation drops to 14-month low, back to pre-COVID-19 levels.
The Business Finder has that story, and it says inflation down to 7.5%. Mining royalties give communities 30%. That's Rike Subonte, president of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. That's a picture here. And 145 million Ghana cedi grant to support SMEs to recover from negative impact of COVID-19. That's according to the president.
If you go to citynewsroom.com, university senior staff yet to call off strike after fruitful meeting with NLC and fair wages. Also, making Accra work again shouldn't be seen as political vindictiveness. Henry Quarte. He's also saying we want to make Accra cleaner and safer by end of 2024. In other stories, we are paying more for Sputnik V vaccines, but we've not been swindled. This is a free year. And then a few more stories on citynewsroom.com. Akufo-Addo praises Volta chiefs for denouncing misguided Western Togoland campaigners. And law banning Okada operations must be maintained for now. Hassan Tampuli speaking at the vetting. In other stories, citybusinessnews.com. Inflation drops further to 7.5%, May, lowest in over a year. Also, Alan Woo's American investors as U.S. Exim Bank seeks to assist 1D1F with $300 million. And Akufo-Addo launches Ghana Enterprises Agency. MyJournalline.com lead story. It says free SHS quality of teaching and learning could be better. Achimota PTA chair. Also, vetting of deputy ministers designate Suhini and Ampontia clash over greenhouse project. Meanwhile, national security says mistrust in EC is potential ground for violence and threat to national security. That's a serious story. And reasons for fix the country protest not compelling, pressing or urgent. This is the police. If you go to Star FM, the lead story, Akufo-Addo, 145 million Ghana Cedi fund to help post-COVID MSME recovery. Also, we will assist you fight terrorism, Nana to Burkina. In other stories, government hasn't paid for Sputnik vaccines yet, according to the majority. And CJ petition against Aine, an attack on free speech. This is the minority speaking. If you go to GNA, they're leading with Nana as he talks to Burkina Faso to help fight terrorism. In other stories, Ghana woo's IFC to invest in Ghana Case of Batampa program, and all is set for Green Ghana Day to plant 5 million trees tomorrow, June 11. And then, of course, if you go across the world, the US president is visiting the UK and is also looking to buy $500 million worth of vaccines to share to the rest of the world. Let's start with you, Nathan.
Yes, let's go to page 16 of the Ghanaian Times. Let's talk some economy stories. And the IFC, the story, according to the story, to inject $2 billion to shore up private sector. The International Finance Corporation, IFC, is set to invest nearly $2 billion in the Ghanaian economy in the medium term to shore up the private sector. Mr. Kano Foriata, the finance minister, disclosed this in Accra yesterday at a 2-day workshop with the IFC, and he indicated that the fund would be invested in the private sector to help them build back from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2-day retreat was to strategize on how to align IFC's medium-term strategy to the priority areas outlined in the 100 billion cedi Ghana COVID-19 alleviation and revitalization of enterprise support or CARES or Batampa program.
Let me give you some stories from the Daily Graphic, Bernard. I'll give you the story from the back page of the Daily Graphic. Sea ravages homes in Ketu South.
Still,
we need a sea defense wall. Lives and properties must be protected in our area. Those were the words of Mr. Sylvester Kumewu, the assembly member for Amutinu Salakope, one of the communities hit by recent tidal waves in the Ketu South municipality in the Volta region.
is it Kumewu or Kumao? Are you sure you are reading it?
Kumewu is what I see.
Okay, you go on. I'm sure there's something wrong there. Anyway, go ahead. You can't have a Kumewu in Ketu South.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
You'll be surprised. He said life had been very tough for the affected families, and that what was required was a long-term solution to the problem. The tidal waves are said to have disrupted the economic activities of the people and affected the people's health, education, and other daily engagements. Now, Bernard, according to the story, for the past 3 months, over 1,000 residents of Agaveji, Adina, and Amutinu and Salakopa in about 135 homes have been affected and rendered homeless by the ravaging sea, which keeps swallowing homes and properties, and it looks like this is not going to improve anytime soon.
Still in the graphic, what else is big for you?
The mining story on page 41, Bernard.
Okay. And 3 people jailed?
Yes, the judge said something very interesting in her ruling here. 3 illegal miners jailed 45 years. 3 illegal miners have been sentenced to a total of 45 years and also fined 720,000 Ghana cedis for undertaking small-scale mining operations without a license. The 3 convicts, Joseph Donko, 40, Joseph Paul, 27, and Charles Ewusi, 27, were each jailed 15 years on 2 counts of mining without license and conspiracy to commit crime. In addition, they were fined 240,000 each. The convicts were caught in the act of illegally prospecting for gold in a forest reserve on February 16 during an operation by a team from the Regional Forestry Commission. Now, Bernard, in passing the judgment at the Circuit Court B, presiding judge Mrs. Abigail Enima Asare reminded other like-minded persons that the Mining Act had been reviewed and the punishments were very punitive. She said the 3 were handed the least punishment under the Act, owing to the fact that they were first-time offenders, and that it was rather unfortunate that the convicts had to suffer it when the real financiers
Oh, so these are
were
still
out there.
the small boys, the ones which are dispensable. All right, let's come to the finder, Nathan.
Yes, the Business Finder also has something on mining, and the Ghana Chamber of Mines has reiterated its call for an increase to 30% from 13% mineral royalties that go to the host mining communities for development purposes.
Okay.
Now, that's according to President of the Chamber, Dr. Eric Esubonti, and who was speaking at a recently held annual general meeting of the chamber.
All right. Now, there's a lot of stories. Let's start with Akufo-Addo. He's asking and is telling Burkina Faso that he will help them fight terrorism. Now, that story came in from yesterday. The President of Ghana and Chairperson of ECOWAS, Nana Akufo-Addo, has assured the government and people of Burkina Faso of the commitment of the regional body towards winning the fight against terrorism and violent extremism, commiserating with President Roch Marc Christian Kabore on Wednesday in Ouagadougou, following the killing of some 160 people on Sunday by unknown militants. The President of Ghana stated that the scourge of terrorism must be defeated in West Africa if citizens are to live in confidence of peace, freedom, progress, and prosperity. Now, the next ECOWAS summit is scheduled for Accra, June 19. ECOWAS chair says top of the agenda of the meeting will be reforms to the organization, firm resolution by member states to implement a comprehensive plan of action to combat the menace of terrorism. And he says Ghana is committed to deepen and strengthen the ties of friendship between the two countries and to show leadership. This is what we've been asking for within the sub-region.
But honestly, ECOWAS is in a precarious state.
I'm telling you.
See, let's not paper over the cracks, but ECOWAS is in a very precarious state.
Yes, and the president said the Burkinabe president stressed that it's only West Africans working together that can defeat terrorism, and thus lent his support to his Ghanaian counterpart call for ECOWAS to take the lead in fighting terrorism.
But
so
the sub-region has some of the worst leaders around.
I'm telling you. So but I mean, our president is trying, so let's support him to do the
Okay,
work.
let me give you a story from Saglemi Bernard, page 6 of the Daily Guide. Ajuwo Yejen. The police in Ashaiman in the Tema Regional Command have arrested a procurement officer who allegedly stole equipment and materials being used for the construction of the controversial Saglemi affordable housing in the Ningo Prampram district of the Greater Accra region. A scrap dealer who was receiving the stolen items totaling 444,000 Ghana cedis has also been nabbed. The case triggered police investigation after Sylvanus Kwekwa-Ativo, the procurement officer of Oasis Construction Limited, which was the Brazilian company building the houses, reported the scrap dealer identified as Ahmed Issa to the police for stealing his goods. The police then traced and recovered all of the stolen goods except a forklift and the serviceable tower light from people the scrap dealer sold the goods to. Ativo, 54, filed a complaint at the police station because he claimed Issa shortchanged him in the course of the transaction. But just a list of the items. State properties including 48 Sita Howobas valued at 320,000 Ghana cedis. A forklift estimated at 50,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay, they are not small things.
Tower lights valued at 5,000 Ghana cedis. 23 pieces of big size wooden doors valued at 11,000.
Was he working alone? Carry all these things.
And 20 pieces of window frames valued at 16,000 Ghana cedis were stolen. Now, these 6 hydraulic pipes valued at 900 cedis, one steering. But they stole a lot of things.
But let's not forget that the bigger issue is that the buildings are still there. Nobody inhabits them. So we've caught the small thief. But the guy who's put us in this predicament, we have to find a way of fixing this so people can live in the houses. That's a much bigger issue. Anyway, let's come to the Chronicle.
The Chronicle on page 3 has the speaker telling a few hard truths to the MPs.
Yes.
Now, he's cautioned the country's lawmakers that under no circumstances should they evade service of court when the legislature is not in session. To the speaker, the immunities being enjoyed by himself, the clerk of parliament and MPs are not absolute, stressing that any member caught on the wrong side of the law, once served by a court of competent jurisdiction, must avail himself to the court.
Let's talk about Sputnik V. Health Committee in Parliament says government is not being ripped off in any deal to procure Sputnik V vaccines for the country. Now, per reports from a Norwegian news portal and subsequent communication from minority in Parliament, the health minister has signed an agreement to purchase Sputnik V vaccines through intermediaries at a higher price than the factory price or the expected price. Now, the group says the purchase is also a breach of procurement procedures. But speaking on Eyewitness News yesterday, chairman of the health committee, Dr. Nana Eyu says although the country has signed agreements with the suppliers, none of the vaccine consignments has been received yet. He argued that the Russian Direct Investment Fund and the procurement of the Sputnik V vaccines require the use of middlemen, whose activities will lead to an increase in the original price of jabs. Hence, the concerns being raised over abnormal pricing are misplaced. We've not been swindled as a state, even though we are in a desperate state to get vaccines. The policy of government, which is a very good one, is to get business persons to get into the Sputnik V space. Well, that's his explanation, but the minority is basically saying no, we need a further probe into this. He also says government hasn't yet paid for the vaccines, but we are told it's the financial structure of the deal that's causing a lot of tongues to wag. Keep an eye on this story. You've not heard the last of it. Then I want to give you a couple of quick stories. National Security says mistrust in EC is potential grounds for violence and a threat to state security. This is a serious story. Eldin John Broby on Joy Online says the National Security Secretariat says mistrust in the Electoral Commission is arming political party vigilante groups for violence that threatens the state security. The Secretariat's strategic security policy demands the EC to investigate the source of public mistrust and urgently address them. The opposition NDC has not hidden its dislike for and mistrust in the current leadership of the EC. Indeed, the outcome of the 2020 general election and the Supreme Court judgment on the petition entrenched the party's strong opposition to the EC. And there are other angles to the story. Really interesting story. Let's come to the New Crusading Guide.
Yeah, the New Crusading Guide has John Kuma on there. I'm trying to...
From his vetting yesterday.
Yes, from his vetting. So the Chronicle has one story where he talks about free SHS.
Let's go in that one. It says if the rich pay, the poor may not get the chance to...
Yes, he's explaining why the current system of administering the free SHS, where both the rich and poor are not allowed to pay fees, cannot be tampered with. Now, according to him...
Tampered with.
Yes. Tampering with the structure will deepen the inequality gap because the ministers and other state officials in charge will ensure that their wards benefit at the expense of the poor.
Talking about education, Godfred, John has an interesting story. This is an interesting one. Keep Rasta boys in school even if you win the appeal. Achimota PTA chairman advises school authorities. So the tone is changing. PTA chairman of Achimota School, Dr. Andre Kwesikuma, has advised management of the school to allow the two Rastafarian students to complete their course even if they succeed in appealing the ruling. If we win the appeal and we are going to withdraw the kids, or punish them at that young age, you may have traumatic consequences for them. As a parent, such an experience for a child is traumatic one, and I would suggest to Achimota School to permit the two Rasta students to complete their education at school, he said. Well, we hope he should have said this like a month ago. Would have avoided a lot of all these challenges. Anyhow, we agree with what he's saying. Achimota School has then the story then gives the background. He was speaking on Joy yesterday about the Rasta students.
Let me take you to court on page 3 of the Daily Guide. Opuni's move to remove judge fails again. According to the story by Jabal Abdul Razak, a second attempt by former chief executive of Cocoa Dr. Stephen Kwabno Puni to get a Supreme Court judge off his case has failed. Dr. Puni, who is standing trial for causing over 270 million Ghana cedis financial loss to the state, had filed an application asking Justice Clemens Jackson Honyanuga, a Supreme Court judge sitting as an additional High Court judge, to recuse himself from the trial on grounds of bias and some statements the respected judge purportedly made during the trial. Now, also happening in court, Bernard, is the trial of the alleged coup plotters. And according to this report, an alleged female coup plotter wanted and Ado eliminated after he was captured. So
two stories from Henry Quarte's interview on the Point of View yesterday. We want to make Accra cleaner and safer by end of 2024. Henry Quarte, Greater Accra Regional Minister, has high hopes that the national capital Accra could become cleaner and more congenial by the end of 2024. This, the minister says, will collectively be achieved through discipline, decongestion, proper sanitation, security, health, and education. So these are the 6 pillars of his agenda: discipline, decongestion, proper sanitation, security, health, and education. Now, he was speaking on the Point of View yesterday. He also says that his actions should not be seen as political vindictiveness and that he's trying to get all people on board to make Accra work again. It was a very interesting conversation I had with him yesterday. I want to give you a chance to give me 2 quick stories because I want to go international. Something great is happening in the US.
Go international.
Well, President Joe Biden is going to procure $500 million worth of vaccines for the rest of the world. So basically, in a move that's not really putting America first, but putting the rest of the world first, I think. He basically is pledged to spend $500 million to buy. In fact, he's bought actually 500 million doses. Let me go into the story properly. US has bought and will donate 500 million doses, not dollars, or doses of Pfizer's vaccine worldwide. The US has purchased and will donate 500 million doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine worldwide as it seeks to be a key player in getting other nations vaccinated. A person familiar with the move told CNN, President Biden will announce the news at the G7 summit in Cornwall in England this week. Around 200 million doses will go out in 2021 and 300 million will be distributed in the first half of 2022. Biden's top COVID advisor, Jeff Zients, has been working on the deal for the last month. All doses will go through COVAX, the International Vaccine Initiative, and will go to 92 low and lower income countries, in addition to the Africa Union. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told reporters aboard Air Force One on Wednesday that in addition to the Pfizer purchase, Biden is also expected to take part in a combined announcement with the G7 on a comprehensive plan to end the pandemic. It will include a segment on vaccines. All I wanted to know was how many Ghana will get.
All I want to know is that they should tell the companies to allow us to produce. They should
No,
share
but
them.
what we've gotten to now, I think this is great because even if you were to start producing, when would you finish?
In addition.
So if you
we are ready to go.
if you are going to get 200 million doses, it's a lot. I think Biden has
Especially
now.
as the Serum,
he's done well, but you know
Serum
that
Institute has a bit of an issue.
the Pfizer one comes with a different cold chain
mechanism. Yeah.
So let's wait.
Let's rejoice in the fact that we are getting 500 million. Then we can think about cold chain tomorrow.
The last time we had an announcement, it was Sputnik coming, didn't get here.
Serious.
Page 5 of the
Inside
daily
Africa.
graphic. Yes.
Yes.
Trump is hailing Buhari
Seriously?
for ordering Twitter ban.
I thought that was a fake news.
Oh, it's happening in Al Jazeera.
Wow.
Former US President Donald Trump has praised Nigeria's government for banning Twitter after deleted President Muhammadu Buhari's post for breaching his rules.
Wow.
Who are they to dictate good and evil? If they themselves are evil, Mr. Trump said in a statement. He urged other countries to ban Twitter and Facebook for not allowing free and open speech. Mr. Trump was banned from both platforms after the U.S. Capitol riots in January.
All set for Green Ghana Day to plant 5 million trees in Accra, June 11th.
Yes.
Story is on GNA. It says the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, Wednesday said government has already distributed more than 5 million seedlings to the district and regional offices of the Forestry Commission and district assemblies in readiness for the Green Ghana Day, which is tomorrow. This is to plant 5 million trees across the country. President will plant a commemorative tree at the precincts of Jubilee House at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Forestry Commission had marked out sites for tree planting on the Green Ghana Day, but excluded degraded mined out areas which have been polluted with heavy metals, saying that a national reclamation program would deal with polluted mine areas.
Really excited about this project. I hope it goes well.
And he says that seedlings include wawa, mango, rosewood, shea trees have been distributed to some of the regions. We are all getting involved. That was the newspaper review. Thank you, Godfred. Thank you, Nathan. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.